Welcome to a deep dive. Today, we're really plunging into a moment that, well, it changed everything. We're looking at it through the eyes of the people who were actually there.
Yeah. Our source is a book, Breaking the Silence, Eyewitness Accounts of JFK's Murder.
And our mission really is to cut through the history, the layers, and get right to the core insights from these firsthand testimonies that day in Dallas.
It's pivotal, chaotic, and what's really fascinating, I think, is how these sources ground you immediately in Dallas, November 22nd, 63, before it all happened.
Right, not just the event itself.
Exactly. It wasn't just a date. The book paints this picture, bright, warm day, anticipation in the air.
People lining the streets, flags, excitement.
But there's also this undercurrent the book picks up on, the political tension.
In Dallas specifically.
Yeah, Dallas felt kind of on edge, is how it's described. You had these strong conservative views clashing, maybe quietly, with Kennedy's whole New Frontier thing. So there was this friction, beneath the surface excitement.
Right, and the book mentions things like the Dallas Morning News being pretty critical of Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
So you get this sense of a fragile peace, this national optimism sort of focused in one spot, and then just bam, everything shattered.
In an instant.
The accounts describe that sound, the crack of gunfire cutting through the cheers, the turn from excitement to just disbelief, chaos.
Fear in Dealey Plaza. It's visceral. Reading their words. It's not just facts.
No. And this is where it gets really interesting, right? The chaos, the trauma.
Yeah.
It meant nobody saw or heard exactly the same thing.
Precisely. The source brings up Abraham Zapruder, of course.
The home movie.
That dressmaker, yeah. His camera caught those, 26 seconds?
On Elm Street.
Mm.
Just became instantly iconic. A key piece of evidence.
Huge for investigators.
But, this book really emphasizes his view, vital as it was, it's just one angle.
One piece of a really fragmented puzzle.
Yeah, you had people like Jean Hill. She was standing closer to the grassy knoll.
Right. Mm-hmm. And the book quotes her being so adamant she heard shots from there.
From the knoll.
From the knoll, which, flew right in the face of the initial story focusing on the book depository.
That contradiction became a huge point. Her certainty really jumps out.
It does. And it brings up this whole question the book digs into. Memory under, extreme stress. How reliable is it? How powerful?
And then there's James Take.
Oh, yeah, Take. He wasn't even right in the main crowd. He was down by the triple underpass.
And he got hit.
Grazed, by a bullet fragment.
Wow.
And the sources point out how his injury just immediately complicated things.
How so?
Well, it forced questions about, how many shots were fired and what path did they take.
Right, because a single shooter from the depository maybe doesn't easily explain that fragment hitting him way over there.
Exactly. It was actual physical evidence that didn't quite fit the simple story.
So you put all these conflicting accounts together. What does it actually mean?
Well,
we know the official finding. The Warren Commission said Oswald acted alone from the depository.
Right. That was the conclusion.
But this book, using these eyewitnesses, Hill hearing shots from the knoll, Tate getting hit down by the underpass.
All these details.
It shows how these accounts immediately planted what the sources called the seeds of conspiracy.
Mm-hmm. Right from the start.
They just highlighted inconsistencies. Things that made people doubt the official narrative based on what they actually saw and heard.
And, connecting this to the bigger picture, this isn't just some abstract historical debate.
No, it's personal.
Deeply personal. The book really drives home the impact on these ordinary people. The shock, the trauma.
Nightmares. Trying to make sense of it all.
For years, trying to reconcile what they experienced with the official story. Their lives were just changed forever.
Yeah.
And their experiences, even the contradictory ones, they become these crucial, kind of messy threads in trying to understand what really happened.
It forces you to see that history isn't always neat and tidy.
Not at all.
So this deep dive, looking at these eyewitnesses, it really shows that history isn't some single clear story from a textbook.
No, it's more like a mosaic, isn't it? Complex, sometimes contradictory, made up of personal experiences, memories, filtered through shock, through time.
Definitely. What really stands out to you after digging into these sort of human perspectives?
It's the sheer power of individual memory, I think, even when it conflicts.
Yeah. Okay, here's a thought to leave you with then. How does that enduring power of individual memory, with all its flaws, its emotions, its inconsistencies, how does it keep shaping, maybe even challenging, our collective understanding of history's biggest moments, like this one, even decades later?